Welcome, everyone, or welcome back, as the case may be, to Star Trek Catalyst. It's our second episode of our sort of alternate universe reboot of the original series. I'm joined once again by these utter fools. I don't know why they came back, but they're here now, most of them. And we are continuing our adventure called Shadowboxing on the planet Gemino 5. Real quick, let's get just sort of around the room. Let's get everybody to introduce themselves again, say who you are and who you're playing. And let's start with Zachary. How about you? You'll go first.
Me? Oh,
Yeah,
boy. My name is Zachary. Hi, I'm playing Danon Tall, the Lieutenant Commander, Chief Science Officer of the Catalyst. And yeah, I don't really have much internet stuff.
All right. What about you, Brian? You're muted.
I was adjusting my windows. All right, I am Brian. I'm at Mind Over Brian on both Twitter and on Twitch. Although on Twitch I spell it with a 0, and Twitter's about to die, so who really cares?
Who cares?
I
I
am playing Commander Vlanor, the first officer of the Catalyst, and the publicly disapproving Vulcan.
Every ship's got to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every time. It's 2 for 2 now.
Well, my name.
Good.
My name is my turn. Am I going next?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Excellent. I'm Darewolf. I'm here. I'm excited, and yeah, life's a beautiful thing, and let's play some Star Trek.
Who are you playing?
I don't know, some cat guy. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Isha. I'm the chief of security. A war-torn, like PTSD veteran of Klingon War, and he's got some ticks. You should probably see a doctor.
Like a member of the Broadway musical Cats went to Vietnam and came back. What about our captain?
I'm Alex. I'm playing Ian O'Neill, the human captain of the Catalyst.
And you and your human privilege.
That's racist.
You're right. Yeah, that's racist. You're racist.
No, that's speciesist.
Oh,
There you go.
And finally,
my name is Matthew. I play Lieutenant Itea Dahl, who is a female Cardassian or half Cardassian, chief engineer of the ship, who is intensely meticulous and still somewhat youthfully naive.
which will not come into play at all, I'm sure.
No, because I'm a terrible role player, so you know.
That's true. And I am Professor X. I am the GM for Star Trek Catalyst. So let's get back into the swing of things, specifically swinging claws and swinging knives, as we find Lieutenant Commander Isha and Commander Vlanor. They are close to the sort of the base of Mount Idle here on Gemino 5, just outside of the colony, the Federation colony Walpurga. And they are on a mission to retrieve Loraxian berries. Now, those berries are needed in order to treat one of the poor brothers for Nugarian infection. And so he is on death's door, and it's vital that they retrieve these berries. There's only one problem, though. Well, actually, there are 4 problems still there. There's a Borg drone and 3 Romulan Ulans attempting to dispassionately murder our commander and our lieutenant commander here. So we are back into the action, and it looks like our NPCs still have to go. Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, Vlanor, you had just been struck by one of the Borg, and you were knocked prone.
I am knocked prone, yes.
Yes. So we have got that fellow is done. Romulans. Now, Isha, you are tooth and claw, slashing, trying to press the Romulans away from you. You're in kind of sort of like Worf battle mode,
right.
One of them is going to rush forward specifically the one that you cut across the hand, if you remember correctly, is going to rush forward and try to stab you with one of its sort of gnarly looking Romulan daggers.
Okay.
So that's opposed daring and security. Need one from you, and I'm going to
Make
spend.
sure I remember how to open my character sheet.
So you have there's a mouse in front of it. It's like a.
You lost me at half.
Okay.
All right, I am done.
Computer.
Yes. Perform task, right?
Perform task. Yes. Once you click what you need.
And I do. Wait. Oh, so daring, security. Okay, I see how this works. All right.
Mhm.
Using focus. Do we have any momentum?
There are 3 momentum.
May I use one crew?
Sure.
You.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Nice. Incredible. Incredible work. That's 5 successes.
I have these 3.
You see that Isha's fur goes golden as he turns Super Saiyan. And I'm going to spend... so I spent my threat. I'm going to let this Romulan roll with 3 dice. Good luck. Let's see what happens.
You're wrecked.
Wow. This is a fight for the ages, I'll tell you that. Nonetheless, Isha has won. Let's see. Now that is difficulty 1, so let's see here. Yeah, that's 4 momentum, Isha, by the way.
Welcome, crew.
So what would you like to do with that 4 momentum besides banking it?
I mean, honestly, I'd like to create an advantage for...
Okay, that's 2.
Whoever goes next, either Brian or myself, to where Isha, when he... Basically, the way I would describe this is that when the Romulan came after him, he was able to hook his knife around, disarm him, shove him back into the other 2 so they're off kilter. Basically, I would like to make it so where maybe they have an increased difficulty or something, or we have a decrease in difficulty to attack them.
Absolutely. It is done.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very good. Now, I'll need you to roll for damage. And I believe you have a knife on your sheet now, too, so you can...
Yes. Knife dagger.
Yep.
What do I do? Click it?
Click it.
I'm clicking it. Nothing's happening. Oh, I have to click the actual knife symbol. Got it.
Yes. Wolf is new to computers. So.
I'd like to spend 1 momentum to reroll 3 of those. How do I do that?
Let's see. There's a reroll results. There's like a little piece of text at the very bottom.
3. Much better. That's 7 successes.
Wow, very good.
And
Yeah.
do you have vicious on that knife?
And vicious.
And
Wow.
vicious. So that's
8.
8.
8 stress of damage.
Yeah.
So you spent 2 momentum right now, so we have just 1 left. Oh no,
Except he got 4. So
okay. So that's 2 for the advantage, and then 1. So there's 1 left over. So we're going to bank that. So we should have 4 left over, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Definitely. So describe how you injure this Romulan who's come forward.
So the
Obviously,
way
you
that it
disarm him.
happens is he comes forward, and
Mhm.
so Isha allows him to get into his space as though he's about to get stabbed, but
Mhm.
leans into it, grabbing his arm, flipping the dagger from this hand to the left hand, grabs the arm, and it's like a stab up the arm, basically severing the tendons. The arm, if it was an actual arm, I don't know if these are still weird zombie things, would go limp, because he would cut the tendons, dropping the dagger, and then he would shoulder into him, like lifting him up and basically tossing him with his cat-like reflexes and strength into the other 2, which would then knock them off kilter and dealing the damage to him, if that makes sense.
So the Romulan is slashed and then pushed backward. You see, as the Romulan staggers backward, the other 2 are sort of knocked off kilter by it, and you can see that third Romulan that you injured just like falls backward and does not move. It is disabled. So we are going to kill that guy. Romulan number 1 is dead. Okay.
Commander, watch yourself!
And again, to sort of drive this point home, that Romulan, as he falls like, comically straight and directly to the ground on its back, and just doesn't move, like a plank of wood falling over. The other two Romulans are going to attempt to shoot their disruptors at you, Isha, but they are going to. The difficulty is going to be increased because they're off kilter. So let's have those gentlemen try to fire their disruptors at you. That is a control and security difficulty 3 now. 1. Nope, no good. And then the other. Let's try it again. Control and security. You know what? I'm gonna pay some threat. I'm gonna give them an extra dice just to see what happens. Ooh.
Oh, it happens.
It happened all right. Yeah. So that is, let's see, 1 success over. So they are going to use that actually as they fire their disruptor pistol. Okay.
Ow.
That's, let's see, vicious. So, and they're going to spend that momentum to do extra damage.
Thank you. I hate
So that is 4, 5, 6 stress coming your way. So that is an injury happening to you,
it.
unless you choose to avoid.
How do I avoid? I can't remember.
Spend 2 momentum
Well,
or suffer a complication.
I wouldn't hate the crew if you let me spend the momentum.
No, go ahead, man.
I'm sure we
So
can.
does that mean I
spare it.
take no stress then?
You still take the stress, you just don't take an injury.
Okay, and it's 4, you said? Or 6?
6.
It was 6 in total. Yeah.
Oh wait, that's my reputation track. I'll find it. Somewhere on here. Stress track, there it is. 1, 2, 3. Oh shit.
You basically click the number that you want to be at, right?
Thanks. Got it. All right, cool. So he takes a like a phaser, like disruptor blasts.
Disruptor
like,
blast. Yeah.
Through the chest.
Yes, there is a significant amount of. I don't know if you've ever been shot with a disruptor before, but it hurts.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah, it hurts real bad.
Yeah, I was actually personally in the Klingon War. I saw some shit.
Klingon Vietnam.
Yeah.
So you're struck by this thing. There is a sudden like burst of incredible pain, Isha, and you are, since you don't take the injury, you're not out of the fight. You're still up and going, but you are pretty severely wounded. Okay, so then we got 1 Borg left. So those 2 have gone.
It's all right.
You trigger happy? What's going on?
Yeah, I was trying to look at the stats for phaser type 2 and I accidentally clicked the right dice roll.
You
That's me.
don't let it happen again.
My immersion
try.
is ruined.
I'm sorry.
You know Wolf's delicate immersion. So this Borg, right, is continuing. He's going to move forward, Vlanor, to like he was already looming over you. You're prone. He's going to move forward, and then you see that certain familiar, we'll call them tubules,
Mm-hmm.
are going to extend and try to make purchase on your tender
He's
Vulcan
already
flesh.
gone. He's already gone. So because he's the one that knocked me to the ground. So if
Oh, that's right.
if-
Yes, very good.
I
Then
should in theory get to act before he does.
Apologies. Yeah, we are actually we're to a new round. Yes, so we're moving along. Okay, PCs.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him from the ground with my
Shoot the
phaser.
Borg from the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is going to be control and security. Since the enemy is within reach of you, difficulty is going to be 3.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna take the minor action to aim because I can do that with my phaser.
Got it.
I happen to have Deadeye Marksman, so I reduce the difficulty by 1, so it'll only be a 2.
I'm so good at
and
it.
It's pretty much, yep, that's pretty much how it is.
Okay.
I am going to take the initiative and take one of those momentum. And field tactical devices as a focus.
I'm thinking.
It's the opposite of
Shipboard tactical systems?
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
I'm firing a phaser. What more do you want from me?
It's not a system. It's just a device.
Yeah, field tactical devices is the focus.
Oh, it says devices. Okay, then fine. Yes, that'll take it.
I wouldn't let him do it.
Okay, very good. Since it was only 2 successes, you got 1 over.
Yes.
So fire your phaser, please, for the right time this time.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 successes. You got 1 effect.
I would like to spend that momentum on a reroll for those 4 dice that I.
Please do.
There you go.
There we go.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so 8.
8 damage. So tell us where are you aiming specifically? How does this play out?
I'm actually aiming right at the throat because I happen to know that if you disconnect the cortical nodes from the internal or mechanisms, then you can ruin their targeting systems. So I'm trying to sever the connection of the cranial implants.
Removing the head or destroying the brain.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
Okay.
So yeah, fire my phaser right into this throat with a sustained beam. Just very calmly, because I'm Vulcan, so I have
Of
no
course.
emotions. Just laying on the ground like.
So there's a very clear, like, you can see the beam penetrating and like it's like burning away at it. Like, it's pretty. If you weren't Vulcan, you'd probably be like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh god, freaking out. But instead, phaser cuts clean through, and the Borg collapses to its knees, falls over. You actually have to like slightly move out of the way before it, so that it doesn't like collapse onto your legs. But it is very much disabled. That's 2 Borg done. Okay, very good. Let's see here. One of our Romulans is going to fire at Isha again because they smell cat blood in the air, as you do.
Mhm.
And they're
Burning
going to
fur?
try to, yes, push the advantage here. Okay. Control and security. Difficulty. Here we go. Again, just disruptor shock goes wide. Does not make purchase on you, Isha.
Yeah.
And then it's your turn.
He is going to almost like spring forward on all 4s for a second.
Mhm.
Like he like does like the wharf jump
A
over
Wolverine?
a log. Yeah, like the Wolverine kind of thing. And he's going to dive into the one that's closest to him and just go for a slash and a claw. Going all in.
Very good then. That sounds like is that just sort of flavor, or are you doing like a charge?
That's just flavor.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then let's do
Mhm.
let's make an attack. Let's do daring and security.
All right. And I have augmented ability daring, which means I get
1 free success.
1 free success. But my complication range is increased by 2, right?
It's 1, isn't it?
I think it's 2 at least.
2.
Nope, it's 2. It's 2. You're right.
I'm gonna go for and roll 2 dice.
Coward.
Whew.
You're hot today.
Oh, baby birds.
Very
So
nice.
I'd like to he springs forward.
We got to do the opposed check still.
No, you get fucked.
To give
There's
this
5 successes. But...
to give this, I mean, it's unlikely, but let's see what happens.
I mean,
So
that is
I'm gonna
5
spend-
successes.
2,
That's right.
3,
Woo,
4 dice.
that's fair. I respect it.
Romulan's gonna go.
Got him. Got him. That was
But let's
close.
see.
That was close.
That's technically okay. So 1 difficulty, 4 successes. That's 3, and then the Romulan got 3 too. So it's actually tied.
No,
here.
because,
No. I have
because
augmented ability control. I have daring.
Ah,
That's a
yes,
success.
very good. Yes, excellent. Okay, so roll that beautiful bean footage then on the damage and tell
Got it,
me
baby. You got it,
what
baby bird.
happens there.
Oh yeah. 5, 6. That's 6
6.
damage. 2 dice. Do we have any momentum right now, guys?
2.
I
2.
can't see it right now, but I don't know where it went.
Yeah, we have 2 momentum.
I would like to spend 1 to reroll those 2 dice. 2.
Okay, one
There it
momentum
is.
left.
There it is. So it's 5,
5,
6, 7, 8, is
9.
that 9 damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
9
springs
damage.
over and just, like picks the guy up and suplexes him
Ooh.
to the ground. Just a roar, just boom, just slams him down. You probably hear some cracking.
No, you hear an audible like crunching noises. He sort of folds over like an old mattress.
Yeah.
It is rough.
He throws his dagger, his tail, because he's got the prehensile tail, catches it, and it's just all just claws and throwing. Yeah. He's like full feral.
Somewhere in the distance.
Die, Klingons! Die! He screams.
Whoa, hey. Relax. Buddy. You need to go back to the VA? You need
He's gonna go back to the Federation Hospital.
Yes. It's okay.
Don't
It's
bring
okay,
that into this
Grandpa.
game, too.
Let's come. Come with me. It's time for your nap.
Time to go to the vet.
I gotta get Charlie. They're everywhere. They're in the trees, man.
So our Romulan friend here, our remaining Romulan friend,
Explodes.
yes, he explodes. No, he is. Normally, a display like this would rattle anybody. Romulan, Ulan, Klingon warrior. Like that's an incredible display of violence on the part of Isha. But this Romulan, stone face, blank, absolutely nothing. The Romulan, you can see, actually bears dagger, right, and actually moves forward to meet Isha. Clearly, not having gotten the memo that Isha is a Romulan killing machine.
For now, we'll see what happens.
Daring and security. Just gonna roll regular.
Opposed?
Opposed. Yep.
Yeah.
Daring and security for me.
Excellent. All right.
If you roll another crit, so help me God.
We'll see. Do we have 2 momentum right now? Because I got one.
There's
over.
one left.
One left. I don't want to spend it. We're gonna hold on to it. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
It giveth and it taketh away.
I only got 1 success and a complication.
1 success and a complication. Technically, that's 2 complications, right?
That's actually 2 complications because I'm in ability control. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take a threat for one of them,
That's
and then the other one. So the Romulan comes forward, right? Is going to well, first of all, it's gonna hit. So we need to roll some beautiful bean footage on that. Okay, 3, 4, 5, and it's got deadly. What is deadly again?
I think that increases the. I don't know,
I'm
actually.
gonna have to roll.
Attempts to make a non-lethal difficulty, so that doesn't matter. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 5 stress. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Romulan comes forward with a nasty-looking dagger. Actually, manages to sort of get just underneath sort of your arm and get you in the cat ribs, right? And the Romulan quickly twists and like opens the wound, right, in a kind of a nasty fashion. You're going to take 5 stress, so that's an injury.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that the complication is going to be that you are actively like bleeding out from the wound in your rib.
Yeah. And you have broken a rib too? Like the rib like punctured my lungs, so like I'm like having trouble breathing.
You can be as ruined as you would like.
I'm messed up right now.
Yes. Yeah, so you're gasping for breath, you're staggering backward as you feel this Romulan dagger in your ribs. Absolutely.
Love it.
Okay. And that takes us back to the top of the round again. I would say probably Valanor should probably take this turn.
Really? Yeah, so very calmly, despite having watched his companion just get eviscerated, Valanor just shifts his aim a little, takes a moment, closes one eye, and then fires again. So I will aim with my phaser and then controlled daring.
You're gonna fire at the Romulan. Yep.
Barely fire the Romulan.
Isha will say no quarter. No quarter.
I will not spend that last momentum. I'll just roll a 2 dice. Oh, that was a mistake.
But you aimed, you can reroll.
That's right. I
And
can
with
reroll
Deadeye's
that
marksman,
one.
it lowers the difficulty by 1, so you still succeed.
Oh yeah, I succeed anyway. Nice.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, roll that beautiful.
Oh, well, I got a 17.
Yeah,
so
we'll
it's still,
check.
I
Yeah.
still hit. Yes.
So let's get that
All right.
phaser damage. Does you get a beat on this Romulan?
There
Oh
it is.
yeah,
There it is.
definitely.
There
Yeah.
it is. There it is.
Yeah.
There's a
So Lenore was still not up from the ground, still laying on his back, just like, and then again, we'll just hold the trigger far longer than he needed to, with the understanding that these guys are moving just dispassionately eviscerating the Vulcan, but he's going to be aiming for the Vulcan or for the Romulan's heart area, so sort of below the just below the rib cage in the center.
Phaser blast cuts through, bores a hole in this Romulan, falls to the ground, dead.
And then again, still without getting up, Lenore's just like, first officer to doctor.
Okay, Dr. Rodchenko. You get a message on your comm badge from Commander Lenore.
This is Rodchenko.
Doctor, if you could send a view yourself or one of your representatives could be sent to our location. I believe our security chief has taken a particularly grievous wound, and my medical abilities are not such that they will serve us in this instance.
I'm on my way. And, we'll bolt out the door.
Okay, give me a Commander Rodchenko. Give me a let's see here, daring and fitness, please. See how quickly you
Both
get
of those
there.
are on the attributes. So, which one, daring or fitness?
Don't talk back to me. So what I'd like is fitness and security.
There we go.
That's what I meant to say. We'll call this difficulty 2.
I will be using that momentum.
The last momentum there. Okay. 3 dice.
Because I am not that fit. As I said, I am not that fit.
So you bolt out and you break into just a brisk jog, making your way up towards Mount Idle. As quickly as your, I'm sure, gout infused legs and feet can carry you.
As my gut allows.
Yeah, but you are briskly running towards Mount Idle. What is everybody else doing? Let's check in with the captain and Dal and Tall. What's going on?
Amazing at all. What were we doing? I think we were all talking about taking the sick colonists up to the surface, up to the ship. Sorry.
I believe that was suggested. Yes, that was one thing.
Captain, orders?
Let's try and see if we can get the colonists that need medical attention up to our sick bay. I know Dr. Rodchenko just rushed off to take care of our medical officer.
Yeah, you saw Rodchenko like rush past you as you're talking at the edge of the colony there.
Is it possible, considering that they have the antipsionic interference device alongside them, for us to simply transport the doctor and our chief of security to the medical bay on board the Catalyst?
Conceivable, yes.
Conceivable. All right. Is that an engineering thing or a science thing?
It's engineering.
Okay.
That's an engineering thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I suppose she's actually going to teleport. Wow, I'm in a different universe at the
You have
moment.
psychic powers all of a sudden?
Ooh, fancy.
Well, her Esper rating is quite high. She's going to transport back to the Catalyst, and then using the transporter controls, try to lock onto the doctor as he's hoofing his way up the mountain, and Lieutenant Isha to bring them back to sickbay.
So you're pulling the doctor, Isha, but you're leaving Lenore there?
Yes.
Don't
He
dare.
didn't order me to transport him.
Okay, I just want, just want to know, just want to check.
okay.
Just want to say that when you ask to transport, the transporter person tells you that the doctor has locked out transportation at the moment due to the current infection on the planet.
I don't think he has that right or the justification for that, given
Yes,
Starfleet
Ed, yes.
procedure. At least not without informing the captain first.
Oh no, he didn't inform the captain for sure, but he.
I see.
I'm
I'll have to file a formal complaint about
I'm
that.
smelling
with
some
respect
tension.
Unfortunately, the captain's not particularly pleased with it at the moment.
No, he's not.
So because she can't transport back to the ship, she will just set about writing a report about.
You leave the transporter room and sit down.
That she has regarding the comportment of the chief medical officer and the chief science officer for improper maintenance of his tricorder earlier on.
To whom it may concern.
Did the first officer mention anything about what's going on over there? Like there are things that attack them? No?
Not that I'm aware of. Now,
Nope.
Commander Flanor, your comm badge chirps, and you hear a sort of a gritty's not the right word. I sort of a kind of a Kathleen Turner-esque kind of husky voice come over the badge. It is you recognize the voice as that of Satine. Satine, the chief operations officer for the Catalyst and a fellow Cation for Isha.
Is that Satine? Tell her I'm fine. I have a cool scar.
So you hear Satine. Satine to Flanor.
Lenore here.
Commander, we registered some phaser fire at your location. What is your status?
We have encountered some restless natives, and yet we are all right. The doctor is currently rushing towards us
We are fine, Satine. How are you?
to provide medical assistance.
Are you certain that Isha is intact?
As intact as Lieutenant Isha tends to be.
Wow.
So, was he wounded?
Lenore pauses a moment, looks toward Isha, then only in defense of my person.
Disappointing.
It was an unfortunate necessity due to my carelessness.
Noted, Commander. I must share an interesting sensor reading with you, Commander. We registered phaser fire, but these assailants, how were they attacking you?
They appeared to be wielding disruptors, in addition to the Borg drones, which simply used their augmented strength.
That is peculiar, Commander, as we have registered no disruptor discharges.
Indeed.
Yes, our sensors have picked up only phaser fire and some particle emissions that we are, as of yet, unable to identify.
Once you have those results recorded, please forward them to our chief science officer with the instruction that he is to analyze them at his as earliest convenience.
Of course, Commander. Do you require anything else?
No, I believe that will be all.
Good. Satine out. Okay, so eventually, Dr. Rodchenko, you hustle your way up to Mount Idle here. So let's put you right there. Yep, there you are. Okay, so you see the situation. You see Flanor looks a little, worse for wear, but Isha is actively bleeding out. He is collapsed against a rock. He is reliving the invasion of Hanoi, and he's having a bad time. So,
straight away, I go to work.
Do not have enough fur. Where is your fur?
Lieutenant Isha,
Claws at your
calm
face.
down. Calm down, please. Let me see your wound. You please move your hand. Oof, this is all right. Sedatives and stabilizers, and just jamming something in there to prevent more bleeding, and then we scan for damage.
okay, so doctor, I need you to give me essentially a first aid task, right?
Mhm.
So give me daring and medicine, but because of the complication, the difficulty is going to be 2 instead of just 1.
I do have field medicine, so I ignore complications for working in without proper tools. So if
Mhm.
that applies.
Well, I mean, you do have tools with you, so that doesn't necessarily apply here. You do have your medical kit.
Okay. And focus of course, emergency medicine.
That definitely applies. Yep.
It's gonna apply. We don't have momentum, so this is gonna be
Nope.
fun. This is gonna be fun.
You just need 2 successes. It's fine.
It's fine. It's
fine.
fine. It's fine.
While this is going on, Blenor will tap his comm edge again. And Blenor to Captain.
Emil here, go ahead.
Permission to deliver a tactical report, Captain.
Please tell me what's going on.
Lieutenant Commander Isha and I have encountered assailants who rose from the ground, inexplicably taking on the personification of Borg drones as well as Romulan soldiers. We are none the worse for wear, however, he says, understating. However, the doctor is here rendering needed medical aid to Lieutenant Commander Isha. We are standing by in front of a cave entrance, which we believe might be access to the mines.
Have you located the Lorexian berries?
Oh yeah, that's what we were doing up here. No, we have yet to identify them as we were assailed.
Just to correct, Isha, like you conceivably, Isha, if you may have some like in the palm of your claw still, because you were advancing on the clutch of berries on that bush.
Yeah, I believe I had gotten some right when
You
that
got
rose
some,
up.
yeah.
Correct me
Mhm.
if I'm wrong, yeah.
We have located the berries. However, we have not as yet made our way back toward the simulate.
When the doctor is done with his work, please return.
Aye, Captain.
Speaking of the doctor's work, Doctor, you successfully stabilize Lieutenant Commander Isha. You're using the dermal regenerator and everything. You're making sure that the wound is closed. Isha's lost some blood and is a little bit, I think it's fair to say, just slightly delirious at the moment.
More so than normal.
Well, yes, more than normal. Yes, and he's still going to carry that essentially lethal injury with him. Okay. Now, you could try to heal that injury out here in the field. It would be pretty difficult. Or you can say, get Isha back to, oh, wait, no, the transporters are locked. Huh. That's weird. Well, that injury is eventually going to worsen and going to cause him significant pain and like maybe even death if you don't get it treated.
Quick question. How do I get the momentum thing back?
Yeah,
get more successes than difficulty.
It's not for you.
No, the box that was there.
There should be a little I don't know. You just don't get it anymore. I'm sorry.
You have to refresh and come back into the session.
Yes, it is a refresh. That's
Great,
one of the weird.
What a great UI.
Oh yeah, it's so much
Better than
Roll20.
Roll20.
Okay, somebody who comes from Roll20 shouldn't complain about UI.
Yeah,
I respect that. I can't argue with it.
at all.
So, doctor, how are you approaching this issue with Isha? He's okay. You've stabilized him, but that injury is going to worsen. You know, it's got to be a real thorn, both literally and figuratively, in his side.
So I turn to Vlanor. Commander, if you would help our poor Lieutenant Commander back to the camp, I will take and picks up the tube of berries from his hands. Isha, let go of the tube. Isha, thank you, Isha. Thank you. You did
Doctor,
good.
would it not make more sense to beam the lieutenant up to the ship where the medical facilities are such that he can recover?
Due to the current infection, the probability of infecting the ship is too high for us to return to the ship at the moment until we have been inoculated, and we can send the inoculation up to the ship. Until then, we will have to remain on the planet until further notice.
Due respect, Doctor, but the transporter would remove any infection. So unless the injury has caused him to become grievously infected, the transporter would screen out any toxins
Now,
that would.
Here's the thing, right? Somebody remind me, did the original series have a biofilter in their transporters?
I believe that they did actually.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the case, then yes, that is true.
Question: what century is it right now in game?
23rd.
23rd. Okay. Yeah.
It is the year 2250.
2250. Okay.
And just a quick question for like meta knowledge, because I might be mistaken about this. Was there actually a concern of some sort of spread of this disease, or I thought it was confined just to this one person?
No. It's highly contagious.
It is very contagious. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is significant. Like there's a genuine fear that like if this person like fluid contact with somebody else or like dies and begins decaying, that this could spread, and it is obviously it's significantly dangerous infection.
Very good. Thank you.
DM.
Yes.
Can I make a like an insight check or whatever it is? It's been almost 2 centuries since the last infection of this disease. Does that make any sense? Does it make any more sense than Borg or Romulans?
I see what you're saying. Yes. It is more likely, given that with the exchange of like personnel and ships and logistics and all that stuff, that distant worlds could have been infected and developed. This could have evolved the strain of the bacteria and so on and so forth. It is much more reasonable to assume that Nugarian infection has just jumped ship to a different planet, as opposed to suddenly there are Borg coming out of the ground. Yeah,
so the infection makes sense.
So this doesn't strike you as unreasonable that the infection could be here. Yeah.
Okay. Because the centuries of a long time, but yeah, all right, cool.
I wasn't aware.
I don't know either. I looked it up.
So let's. So it sounds like, Doctor, you and Isha and Commander Vlanor are heading back to the colony proper. Is that right?
No, because at the moment he made a valid point that maybe the Doctor was a bit too gung ho on.
Oh, right, about the transporter biofilter. Yeah.
So he ponders. Dr. Rychenkov to Catalyst.
Catalyst receiving?
We will need a level 1 containment area for our patient, Mr. Isha. Make sure that the transport of the patient is directly into that containment area, and make sure that Nurse Powell is available at her earliest convenience.
I'm fine, Doctor. There is no need for all of this fuck.
There, Isha. Don't make me kick you in the ribs again.
Right away, Doctor. And sure enough, there is the traditional fun time noise of the transporter.
Hi,
Makes
First
a noise.
Officer.
And Isha's transported into sickbay and dies.
Yes.
Yes.
The next character is also Occasion. His name is Isho,
Oh, and he's the twin brother.
twin brother.
Oh, it's one of these, huh?
Or we get a Tuvix thing going on.
Oh, don't start that.
I mean, he was
Not
carrying
yet.
those berries, so I
Yes.
mean,
Let me.
it's all
Becomes
set
a
up.
berry
was-
person.
It was flowers before, but yeah.
You're turning violet, Violet.
Oh God. All right. Captain, permission to join Captain Commander Vlanor at the bodies to investigate.
You have permission to go join the commander. We need those berries to be brought back here so that the doctor can begin work on synthesizing a cure.
No, the doctor has them on the ship. Right? Is that what happened? Out of
No,
character?
no. Just,
No?
just Isha returned to get healed, and I'm gonna be soon on my way down to the camp so that we can start processing the berries.
So who has the berries?
I have
The doctor does.
Okay, cool.
Also, a nearby bush has them as well.
Right. Yes, Captain, I understand. I believe the doctor is up to the task.
Looking up for her pad, then I think Itea is just going to glance over at the captain, wince slightly, and then say, "Well, then perhaps we should investigate the source of this psionic disruption."
Yes, that's what I was going to do.
I thought you were going to help investigate the bodies.
The source of the psionic energy is in that cave as well, as I recall.
Right.
That's
Or at least
correct.
we thought. Yeah.
The cave and the bodies all seem linked. It is highly irregular for both Borg and Romulans to be here.
Oh, yes, I assume that these are, like the illness, a product of this bizarre phenomenon. If
Well,
we
that-
resolve that, then I suspect we're going to resolve all the ancillary problems that have arisen.
Right. I do believe the infection to be real. I don't think that our assailants are either. Well, the commander's assailants.
No, my supposition is that they're as real as the Borg drones that attacked the commander, but I suppose the only way to find out is to actually investigate.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind, Commander Lenore?
I do not believe so.
Okay, well then, that answers your question. So, just to clarify, so who is going where? Like, what's our motion going?
I was gonna go, but I guess we are all going now.
Up to Mount Idle, or are you waiting for them to return?
Ultimately, I think that's the captain's decision as to
Given-
where our crew is going to go.
Yeah, given that we pulled the sled with the insulating
dampener?
fields,
Yeah.
the dampener, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah,
The
I think
doctor's going
the
back with the.
course of action is to meet up with everyone else at the dampener and then probably figure it from there.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Then a couple of minutes pass. You all trek your way. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Up to Mount
Loose
Idle.
call.
You are here with everybody. The doctor, Itea, is here as well. Very good. All right. So, what's the first order of business now that you have all sort of reconvened, apart from Isha, of course?
Well, I'm going to do what I came here to do. I'm going to investigate the bodies. Well, I guess first I'd talk to Commander and see what happened.
I have every suspicion that these were generated through some sort of field and that they are not true representations of what they are. However, you will find their lifeless corpses here, 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 and here. Captain, I would like it noted that Lieutenant Commander Isha was instrumental in allowing us to survive that combat.
I'll have that noted in official ship logs.
Now, Commander, can you tell me exactly where they came from? The ground?
Yes, mere feet from where they lay now. They emerged from the ground.
Were the behaviors any different than prototypical Borg and Romulan?
You'll forgive me for not being able to offer you a comprehensive description of their behavior, as it was immediately aggressive.
Understandable.
I was busy.
I'm going to use my tricorder that I had modified to scan for any residual like psychic energies that are coming off of Commander Vlanor and the bodies. Or
if you aim that tricorder at Commander Vlanor, he will take a step back.
It's perfectly safe. I assure you.
Again, I would request your forgiveness, as I have seen you operate that tricorder.
Now, I repaired it. It should be in complete working order. It's been modified to account for the psionic interference field.
Well, if our chief engineer is willing to vouch for you.
I'm not voting for him. I'm voting for the technology that I repaired. To be clear. No offense, Commander.
Noted.
Tall. I don't know you well enough to vouch for you either way.
It's fine.
So Tall, give me a let's a reason and let's say a science. Okay.
This is a task, right? Not a challenge.
That is a task. That's correct. Task.
Cool.
Let's call this difficulty 2.
Okay. I got my focus because I used my trill thingamajig.
Correct.
We are out of momentum. So let's see what we do. 3 successes. All right.
All right. Very good. So you got 1 momentum floating.
Yep. And this is a situation where I could like ask questions, right?
So I'm going to give you some basic information just on the success of the task, and then you could spend another momentum to ask an additional question that's sort of related. Right?
Okay.
If you want, that's an option.
Yeah. No, you're good. Go ahead.
So you are clearly getting, obviously, Vulcans being sort of psionic sort of species to begin with, right?
Mhm.
You're getting that sort of natural psionic footprint from Commander Vlanor, but you're also getting, again, this sort of like crashing wave like pulse of psionic energy coming from within the cave that is sort of has given a sort of a light aura of this slightly different psionic energy around Vlanor.
Okay. And then can I so asking any questions would cost momentum?
Well, additional information of a different but related sort of question,
Mhm.
you could spend momentum and then ask that question. I would give you true information. This
Right.
that's what I've told you is the limit of what you've got.
Oh, okay. So I was scanning Vlanor and the corpses, but I guess I can't do both.
That's a separate that's
okay.
2 different tasks.
Right. Still new. Apologies.
Not a problem. And I will just say, as science officer, you have a special ability that lets you ask 1 free question when you make a scan with the tricorder or the ship systems. So,
Really?
Yeah, your role.
Yeah, your role ability.
ROLE as chief science officer.
Right. Okay. I will, and that's once per mission or what?
Once per task that you succeed with a scan using a tricorder or the ship sensors.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do that. I'll ask a free question.
Okay, what would you like to know? Yes, we are open on Sundays.
So you said that it's like everything else. Pressing waves. Okay.
Yeah, just what additional information would you like to know? Like, could conceivably, what other questions do you have, and could you get information from them from a scan like this?
Does this crashing wave of energy operate differently in hold on.
In terms of
when it interacts with a sentient being, does it act differently? Like, is there a way for me to find out if he's hallucinating these things or not?
Are you trying to ask? Is there a different type of reaction to
Yeah.
to organics versus
Some kind of intermixing of
Yeah.
these things, and
Yeah.
That makes
yeah,
sense.
that's something that you could get at. Yeah, so that's your free question, and we'll say that yes, specifically Vlanor being sort of psionic or psychically sensitive already. Um, you're getting the same sort of sense that like these two psionic energies are um, kind of like a constructive interference rather than destructive interference. They're sort of like amplifying each other and intermixing with each other in a way that there's a clear sort of relationship there. Yes, so there's some kind of effect. To what extent, you're unsure.
Okay. All right. I will not use a momentum. We can bank that for now.
Cool.
And Tal will say, when this crashing wave of energy that's coming from inside Mount Idle interferes with you, Commander, it's not destructive. It's almost synergetic with your own innate abilities. I don't know exactly why or how, but somehow I believe they've made some sort of like psychic holographic system, perhaps.
Interesting, Commander. Do you think that it is prudent for me to return to the ship, removing a potential lightning rod of psionic energy?
Meta question: are trills technically psychic? I don't remember.
No.
No, just they got the symbiosis.
Yeah, the
thing going
symbiote's
on.
just like a more direct physical connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Internal Wi-Fi, not external Wi-Fi. Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah.
4G.
Oh, come on, stop it. All right. I don't believe removing you would outweigh the loss of your abilities, unfortunately.
Captain?
In my opinion.
So I'm curious about something here then. If this energy wave is causing this effect, our dampening device, is it effective at all? Was it this what it was supposed to prevent?
Professor, that is a good DM, that's a good question. What do I know that the dampener has done already? Like, do I know what it is doing?
If you were so Vlanor, Cations are not psionically sensitive.
I don't believe so.
No, they are not.
No.
So Vlanor, you recall that as you were coming up towards Mount Idle, you were experiencing some head pain, some nausea, some slight dizziness, right? Once the dampener had been activated and was creating this sort of dampening field, right? Those symptoms had almost all disappeared, right? So there is an obvious physical reaction going on the effect of the dampener.
In which case, I will mention
Yeah.
that I had those symptoms coming up the mountain, and that the dampening field did remove them, and that I believe U.S.S had them as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we discussed them on the way up.
I was getting a little crazy.
More so than usual.
Yes.
Well, that's not saying much.
Then I will regurgitate that fact and say it seems to have some sort of effect, whether or not it is. We did not have it in place before. We had it in place before we came here, so we don't know what the full extent of just straight exposure would be. So it seems prudent to keep it for now.
Captain, if I may.
Commander?
If the Lieutenant Commander is correct, and I am acting as some sort of lightning rod for this psionic energy, perhaps it would be prudent to return me to the ship and request a pair of security officers in lieu. If my Vulcan abilities are causing the assailants to spawn, as it were. It may be
Then-
safer.
I
Is-
believe that is also prudent. Lieutenant Isha was indeed exhibiting more distress in his personality than normal. And I can see on Villanore's face signs of his struggle with the environment.
His incredibly expressive face.
Yes,
Well,
his incredibly expressive face.
There's a
Forgive
big
me,
There's just a big bruise on one side of his face.
forgive me, Captain, if it's the case that both our chief of security and our first officer were affected similarly by this field, why should we believe that he is in any way a quote-unquote lightning rod for the effect?
Exactly. That was my thinking. GM.
Didn't you just tell me, science officer, that I was?
No, I didn't say you're a lightning rod. I said you were
You just said that.
I was
that-
having
that
a
he
sympathetic
was.
reaction with like an amplification.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I apologize.
There's no need to apologize. I'm just making sure that's the actual thing that you said.
Let's
Yeah.
pose that question. So, meta,
Mhm.
what we know, do we actually think that, based on the information he's gleaned, our first officer is imperiling us in some way, or are their reactions seemingly the same?
I might suggest, first of all, in order to sort of further answer that question, let's examine the bodies.
Yeah, that's what I was
Mhm,
about to get to.
Yeah.
I
So
will take the.
who's leading the charge on that?
I guess it's going to be a reason science, I suppose.
Yes, you can do so. Dow, you can also take it from a reason. I would say from an engineering perspective. Let's say you can do the same task and gain sort of similar information.
I think it would probably be best if it was a science or medical task to examine them. That would seem to make sense to me. So I'll step back for that one.
Certainly. Yep.
Well, Dull, why don't I have a look at the Romulans and you have a look at the Borg, seeing as they are, if they are real, mostly mechanical. Maybe you can
That's-
identify if they are actually what they seem to be.
I certainly hope not, but I can
Neither.
take a look. Doctor, perhaps you might want to assist me in my investigation, considering the unique combination of biological and technological components that we're dealing with in Borg.
Of course, although my time here must be very short. I do have, and he shakes the berries, other pressing matters.
Well, if you want to attend to that, that's fine.
An important parfait to make.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Vladimir will make just one. Like, while the truth of their presentation may be in question, both my injuries and Lieutenant Isha's will certainly attest to the veracity of their existence. Lieutenant Commander.
Meta
They're
question.
definitely real.
Yeah. Another question. How badly injured is Valinor?
I have
did-
a big bruise on one side of my head because I got clobbered by a Borg.
Oh, okay. But not like a lot of stress, just like a few.
Just 3.
Okay. Cool.
Just
he-
3.
Just,
Just
3. You're just bleeding internally. That's okay. Like
No,
it's
the
fine.
doctor while he was while we were waiting for the other to arrive, he did check him over and
yeah,
you know.
Vlinore's in decent shape.
I
Okay,
packed
like-
a little bit of snow together. I put it up against my bruise. It's fine.
Yeah. It's
So it sounds like we have 2 reason and science tasks. One on behalf of Dahl to take a look at the Romulans, and then of course, Tall, and then Dal. Let's get a reason science from you, Doctor. Do an assist with your reason medicine. That's so 1 dice on there, and let's see the results of that.
Could I argue, since I'm examining the technological components of the Borg, that it would be reason engineering?
I'll allow it.
and I have biology and xenobiology for a focus. That good?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I also have the.
All right,
xenobiology,
Game Master, if I
so,
may. Meanwhile, in medical, and Commander Isha is arguing with nurses to let him out. So that's the scene that's happening. Quick cut, just calm down.
Look, it is fine. Just give me some catnip and I'll be right this way.
Do you want to? We can take a moment.
No. I just want that to be in the background. I don't want to. This is good. This seems good. I don't want to take it
Okay,
away.
sounds good.
I do think, though,
You are
with-
arguing with Nurse Powell right
Correct,
now
yes.
about
I think with Ishigan, though, the captain would request another security officer come down and join them to get Wolf back down here.
No, I don't need to be down there. It's fine.
Actually, Wolf.
Can I be Deanie Bradish?
No.
You could be
No,
red
Danny
shirt
Brand.
A.
All right, how about Daniel Brodish?
Isha, I'm actually going to lean on one of your values here. Okay. You have a value that says know when to give ground. Okay. Given your state, you have been wounded, you're slightly delirious. There's a sense that you like that the Romulan has like embarrassed you or shamed you in a way because of this like almost lethal injury. I'm going to give you a point of determination.
Take it.
If you will insist that Nurse Powell, you better transport me down to the planet right now. I'm rejoining the fight. I don't care if I still need time to heal or what have you. I'm going back down right now.
Nurse Powell, look me in the eyes. I must get
yes,
down.
yes,
to
I'm
my
looking,
captain.
Isha. Yeah,
No,
I
look at my
understand
eyes.
that.
Look at them.
I can't look anywhere else. Your eyes are
I am
huge.
the chief of security now. And
You
my
were always the
place-
chief of
My
security.
place is on
Isha.
the planet. This medicine is fantastic. I feel great. I'll be fine. Must be on the planet. Transport me now. I
Sir.
would like to roll a. Can I do like? Can we make this a roll? Can I do?
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
Can I do? Can I argue for daring, like daring security to like argue with her, or like what would you say? I mean, you're the game master. You tell me.
That sounds like you're trying to convince her to do this
Yeah.
without too much
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
So actually, let's say daring and command.
I love it. Could I argue for focuses of interrogation?
Hmm. You're not really getting any questions.
Oh,
like,
no,
out
no,
of
no.
her.
I'm like, if you were in my spot, if there was a medical emergency down on the planet, and you were the only one, nurse, that could save everyone, would you simply lay in bed? Would you go and protect your back?
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
I mean, I guess he a 1 to 2 range versus a 1, but hey, I'm gonna go for it. Do we have any momentum?
You have
point.
one.
We have one.
I'm spending it. It's YOLO. Actually, you know what?
If you fail, we get one anyway.
I'm gonna spend that determination to get 2 free successes and just go for it.
Sure. Why
I
not?
had a free one. Why not? Right? So, and then I'll roll 1 die now, right? Because I spent 1 to get the determination. I roll 1. Isn't that right? So I have 3 successes right now, automatically. I don't know what the difficulty on this is, but now I have a complication, but I have 3 successes.
So Nurse Powell, I mean, you're familiar with Nurse Powell, Isha. She's like not exactly a pushover, but she's very much like a follower, not a leader,
Yeah.
right? And she recognizes that like you outrank her by quite a lot. Like she can't technically stop you, not really. And so she says, yes, I understand that would be a crisis moment. Let me just say, for the record, I strongly advise you do not pursue this course of action for your own health and safety.
Noted. Now transport me.
Yes, of course. She taps her comm badge. Nurse Powell to Captain O'Neill.
Go ahead, Nurse Powell.
Captain, Isha is requesting an immediate transport back to the planet's surface. Against my wishes, let it be known.
No, he was sent back there for a reason.
I am fine, Captain.
Sir, we've done our best to. He is in no immediate danger, but his experience on the planet will be somewhat painful.
You must know when to give ground, Captain, and now is not the time.
I'm hearing the Curb Your Enthusiasm music right now, as Captain O'Neill is.
Send him down. If he is not in condition to be down here, you will be the one answering for it, Nurse.
But
Splendid, Captain.
Yes, Captain. Right away. Okay. Lieutenant Commander, report to Transporter Room 2. I guess.
Give me one of those, boosts.
You've had far too many already, Lieutenant
Damn it.
Commander. Okay. If you agree to an escort to the transporter room, I don't want you passing out in the middle of the corridor.
Fine. Stumbles.
She takes a hypo spray and like jams it into your neck, and you feel a sudden
Yeah.
It's a suppository.
It's not.
shoves the.
But I don't know why you said
it's-
that.
It's not a suppository.
At
It didn't
all.
go up the butt.
That's not
Nope.
how that works at all. That's no.
you mean
there's no-
placebo, Zach?
You've
No.
completely
So-
ruined my immersion.
All
Nurse
right,
Powell
I'm sorry.
like gets another sort of a junior nurse to escort you to the transporter room, and sure enough, there is the traditional transporter sound, button hit, and a pretty rough looking but still standing Lieutenant Commander Isha returns to the surface next to you guys as you're looking about.
I think as soon as Isha appears, Captain's going to turn towards him. If you're not in condition to actually be down here right now, when we get back, assuming we survive this, you will be confined to your quarters until I see fit to let you out.
The doctor just looks at you and says, "Don't make me make you go sleepy time."
Noted.
Here we
sir.
go. Night night.
Noted.
So, Isha,
What
here's
was the
complication.
difficulty on that check, by the way?
The difficulty in the check?
Yeah, because I got 3 successes.
Oh yes, that's right. It was one.
Okay,
Like I
so we
said,
got
Nurse
2
Powell
momentum.
is Nurse
You
Powell is
also
going to
only
push
rolled
it.
one die. So
I thought I was only supposed to roll 1 because he's determination.
no, that's just an extra die. So you're rolling 2
Oh.
dice, but you get the third that you purchase using your
Oh,
determination.
well then I should roll 1 more. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
Do it. Let's see if there's extra.
It's nice for me to know that I can just cheat willy-nilly when it comes to our game. And you won't even know. Okay, this is good.
Boom. That's right. For some reason, I thought that it made the first die because ELH had said that way back in the day, and that's what I always did. Maybe he was wrong. I don't know.
Well, you have the dice, but then it sets it automatically to
Okay.
because it still accounts for the number of dice in the pool.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So I got an extra 2 successes. So that's 4 momentum. That
I
we
believe
got.
so.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Very good. So back up to 5. Very good. Now, Isha, your complication here is you arrive back on the planet. You know that like if you push yourself too hard, wound's going to open up again. You're going to bleed. You're going to have a bad time. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's take a look at Tall. You've got 2 successes here for your check on the Romulans, correct?
Right.
Okay. So what you learn from your scans and your examination is that, well, these definitely aren't living beings. I mean, they are dead, yes, but
Right. But they're not actual beings.
they're
is what
not
you're saying.
biological beings. In fact, as you are like looking around and like looking at the wounds specifically, as you're able to like, do you get your hands dirty, by the way? Are you like getting
Oh
into-
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're opening up the wounds like a little bit further and getting past like just the dermis,
Mhm.
and you realize, oh, there's circuitry under here.
Circuitry. Does it look familiar? Like the origin. My one free question.
Yes.
Where is this technology from? Species, place, any information I can pull from it.
Technology is foreign to you. It's only because you are, a trained science officer that you realize that it is circuitry.
Oh. Okay.
Similarly, Dal, have you made your check yet?
I haven't yet. I would like to spend 1 momentum to roll 3 dice, if that's all right.
You have 5. Ooh, nice
And then
rolls.
I'm adding my.
Yep. Adding yours.
So we have 1 floating momentum by my count.
Okay, very good. All right, so Dal, similarly, as you dig into the Borg, right, you realize that, oh yeah, there's the normal sort of mechanical greebles that Borg have, but there's also like underneath the flesh, which should be still biological tissue, more circuitry.
And it's different from the Borg.
Yes.
circuitry.
Noticeably different, yeah. And again, that circuitry is foreign. It's not recognizable to you guys at all. Some species has created this, and they have a way of sort of laying out electromagnetic kind of pathways and circuitry and wires that is completely unusual to you.
Lieutenant, do you see that? This is not biological, man.
No, they're entirely technological, something like Mudd's androids, sort of like, but more sophisticated in the extreme.
This is
I'm
quite the how do we say conundrum?
Quandary?
Yes, that the quantum.
Leave the human term is cluster.
There's a
Breathe,
sudden,
Mr.
like,
Isha.
There's a sudden rack of coughing from you, Isha, as you don't finish that.
So did I lose my question because I asked it because technology is foreign to me? Or
No, you could still ask an additional question.
Okay. All
But
right.
you used your free one to get the additional thing. So if you
Okay.
wanted to spend another momentum, you could ask an additional question.
So they're not biological living things, is
No.
what I got.
None of the flesh that you see, it's all like artificial. It's all designed to give the appearance of living flesh, but it's clearly not.
Lieutenant
Okay.
Commander, is there an easier way to kill them than stabbing them to death or firing on them with phaser fire?
I am. Well, you talking to me?
I
Science?
was asking you a
Yeah.
question, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we have like 3, I think. Lieutenant Commanders. It's a bit confusing. I'm sorry. Out of character. That is what I am attempting to find out. I'm going to use a momentum to ask a question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yep.
3
Go to the
momentum
part.
left.
All right. My question is, does the materials making up these bodies look familiar, or can I know what made them, or who made them, or what kind of technology or technique made them?
Well, as I said before, like the technology is clearly made by a species whose techniques are foreign to you, right?
Okay.
But what you do know, I will say, is that it seems to conform to like a basic idea of circuitry, right? Electromagnetic signals, right? So conceivably, to kind of answer Isha's question, something like an electromagnetic pulse or something that interferes with signals, like of that kind of like variety, could maybe disable these creatures or stop them from operating.
Like an energy damper.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
We modify
Properly calibrated.
Yeah.
we modify a phaser to create a pulse to disrupt them.
Well, unfortunately, phasers only use light. The phasers that we have use light-based lasers in order to damage living tissue. They wouldn't be able to make an electromagnetic pulse, but we could modify the energy dampener that we have to put out something of that kind.
Isha gives the science officer a very narrow-eyed stare. Like one of those, like, I think I'm better than you stares. And it looks like he's going to say something. And Captain, if I may, you've seen this before. This is before Isha goes on a tangent. You want to stop him?
I think the captain doesn't notice this
Okay.
because, while this is going on, mentioned that, there's circuitry inside these bodies. He's kind of moved over to get a closer look himself.
Did you skip basic phaser training? Do you even understand how a phaser works? Let me explain it to you. And he's going to break down how a phaser works and explain to the science officer why he's wrong. And then
He's
he's going
guy.
to...
It's a light. Wait, hold
You are
on.
wrong!
Meta.
It uses energy bits! And he just goes back and forth arguing with him for a little bit. It's more playful than anything, but he's going to argue with you a little bit about how phasers work.
Okay, out of character. Am I actually wrong? Like, what is going on here?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
You are
I mean-
you are in fact wrong. Lasers are a totally different thing.
Which
Phasers are
is funny in character.
Yeah,
It's
it-
funny in
modulated
character.
also
particle
just
energy.
Not what I
weird.
meant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It feels like my character's coming
Hey,
off
no.
as a dumb person.
No, it's
Don't-
perfectly
don't-
fine.
No,
and it's
good.
completely logical. You'd think that a phaser,
yeah.
laser, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
So
One letter
It's
off.
phased energy emission.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yes,
that's
right.
phased
So, but he's
energy.
gonna argue with you, and maybe your character didn't do a lot of like military training. This is all Isha knows.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
You're doing great, man.
No,
Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Don't take it bad. Don't take it bad. Don't think.
Okay,
Roll with
okay.
it. Just roll with it. Just roll with it.
Yeah.
So, Captain, while this like lively argument is going on about exactly the minutia of phasers, you as you draw closer to, let's say you're approaching the Borg, right? Borg corpses. You see that one of their hands, right, has actually been has come detached from the rest of their bodies, clearly as a result of like a stray phaser, disruptor blast, or something. Like you're seeing like a proper flesh and blood kind of hand. But again, inside at the stump and in some of the sort of like smaller wounds, you can see the circuitry inside. So you have like a disembodied example of this circuitry and this technology.
I think with that, seeing it, it's going to Lieutenant Dahl,
Yes, Captain.
and I think
She looks up from being like hyperfixated on the technology as she's parsing things out.
just a quick out of character note here. As we talked about earlier, probably the captain usually refers to her as Itea, but given the complication from earlier, it's a much more professional,
More formal.
and
Yeah.
I'm still not happy with you. This severed hand here. We know something about these is cybernetic, more so than just the obvious at this point. Can you determine if there's any residual traces of energy or power left within its circuitry?
Well, Captain, I can, and you can tell that she's being quite meticulous, as befits her, with how she's speaking to you.
Don't want to poke the bear further.
Certainly do that. To what end, might I ask?
I don't want to risk bringing on a complete unit to the ship, but whatever kind of technology this is, if we can identify it and study it, could benefit the Federation.
I would be happy to continue my investigation, Captain. I'll see if there's any compatibility between its power sources and ours, if you wish.
Check for compatibility, and again to see that there is nothing still remaining within its circuitry at the moment.
Right, and quite gingerly, I guess she's going to like extend her hands to receive the hand.
Hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
The captain's going to give you a hand.
Oh, how droll.
We have fun here.
How droll. Good night, everybody.
Toy Story gift.
Sensible chuckle.
With the confirmation that these are non-biological, the doctor stands up, looks at the captain. Captain, I think I have pressing matters to attend to. I will go back down to the encampment.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just walks off.
Okay, Doctor, you head back towards the colony.
But I do think with asking to make sure there's no power in this unit right now, it wants to know, right now, is there any power in here?
Yes. So is there anything that I can do to make a check on its power systems and better understand them?
Of course there is.
Yeah, that's more a rhetorical question. But
Look, I don't know, man. Like, you people, I don't know what your whole deal is.
I know we're a real problem. So what would that task be?
That sounds
Insight
like
and engineering?
that sounds like reason and engineering still to me.
Okay. Difficulty?
Let's say this is unusual technology, right? This is foreign to you, so let's say 3.
Okay.
Can I assist on this somehow?
If you want to do like command, like, hey, scan that thing.
Sure,
Yeah.
we can do that.
So let's do
Hey.
traditional. Let's do control and command. How
Do
about
your
that?
freaking job.
You.
Well, would it be presence in command, considering I'm using command as
Well, it
captain?
depends. Like specifically, how are you commanding Dull?
Specifically, I need you to check to make sure there's no power left within this circuitry.
Well, what style is what I mean? Are you like guiding doll? Are you like like are you getting angry with Tall? Like, don't check this, check that instead. Give me the mood,
It,
the vibe.
The
again,
complication, I think.
completely professional, not anger, not friendly. I'm your captain. Do this.
Okay, let's do the
Cold.
then.
It's cold.
That sounds traditional presence and command, but I'm going to increase the complication range of Itea's check. Okay, to let's see here. Because of your complication, it's going to be up by 2. So 18 to 20 is the complication on that.
What I'd like to do is spend 1 momentum, and I assume that my electroplasma power systems focus would come into play here.
Oh, yeah.
So is everyone okay with me spending that momentum?
Yep.
And I think what
Do you have advisor?
I have advisor, but I'm also going to use my voice of authority. So I will give you the 2 threat, and I count as having rolled a 1 on my assist.
All right.
Ooh, that's sassy.
Very good. Yeah.
I will re-roll that complication.
No reason not
Please
to.
do.
So not a success,
Ooh.
but I still dodge that complication.
Very good. Okay. Wonderful successes. So 4 in total. And this was 3. So you've got that 1 floating, 1 momentum floating.
I do have an idea of how to spend that, but what do I find regarding the amount of power that's left in the system?
Only residual traces, right? However, the residual traces of energy should have completely dissipated by now. There is something that is like supplementing the amount of energy in these corpses. Not enough to make them move about and like take actions anymore, but there's still like it should have discharged by now. Like this should be nothing. This should be nothing but parts, right? But there's still just a little bit, like less than a. Oh God, I'm gonna reveal my lack of knowledge about electricity. Like a microjoule or something, right?
Okay.
It's like 1 kilojoule. Or
That's too much.
But that's too
So
much.
many.
That's so many. God, I revered myself too. It's fine.
Might I spend that floating momentum then to ask a question, if people are okay with that? And the question I'm thinking of asking is, what is the location of this like ambient power field or whatnot that is creating the energy inside of it? And does it correlate exactly with the source of the psionic field?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
100%. Yes. It is the cave, and all of that is pointing you towards the cave. And it's all connected, baby.
Hey, I think the DM wants us to go to this motherfucking cave and stop asking questions
I'm getting
already.
I'm getting some arrows pointing in that direction.
No. I mean, like
we should bring him back to the ship.
We can have a part 3. It's fine.
We just
Like,
need
we
to
can have a
nuke
part
this thing
3.
from orbit and get it all.
Can we just
over with.
blast a photon torpedo right into that cave?
Yeah.
you can, but then the admiral will be very unhappy with you. Several admirals, in fact.
What about
Probably.
a triquobo warhead?
No, what? No.
What, I mean, it would be more effective.
What about
so I
just a nuke?
applaud
We
the
just
science
do
officers
exactly.
in destructive
To-
capacity. But
To summarize, basically, all of your findings are indicating that there's some kind of psionic energy emanating from the interior of Mount Idle. Specifically, like if you go into the cave and make your way in there, you conceivably will find a source eventually.
right.
This psionic energy is in some way powering these artificial creatures, right? In addition to futzing about with people who are psionically sensitive, right?
Captain, if I may,
Commander?
if we could step aside for a moment while I shared a perhaps personal observation.
Why would you say that a phaser uses light? Are you some sort of idiot?
Listen,
And you're
all I
like, you're
can
beginning
say-
to, Isha, you're beginning to froth a little bit
Yeah.
too, because you're still on that high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wide-eyed, eyes dilated.
Yeah.
While I can appreciate that you are exercising your unique command style, perhaps it would be more beneficial for the crew, who is clearly currently being affected by the residual energy of the psionic field, to perhaps expedite this trip into the cave so that perhaps we can reduce that effect as quickly as possible.
I think, yeah. Captain Neal's just gonna look at Lenore for a moment.
However, certainly don't believe that I am attempting to captain this ship in your stead. It is obviously your decision.
I understand where you're coming from, and I do agree. Now that we've identified what these assailants are or were, and have a little bit of a better understanding, I believe it is time to venture inside.
Excellent.
If
Well,
I may,
we await your command.
You may.
as we are finishing our sort of review of that technology, if the group is amenable to it, I'd like to spend 2 momentum to create an advantage, whereby we can use a tricorder to essentially narrow the psionic disruption field that we have created as we bring that object with us to essentially short circuit or sap the power from any further hostiles that we encounter that are being powered in the same way.
Definitely.
Does that?
Sorry, go ahead. Would it also be beneficial to use the tricorder and hook it to the energy dampener to kind of pinpoint where this energy source is coming from, so we can get there sooner?
Using it as a kind of a compass.
Yeah.
I would say that yes, provided that you tell you what, spend an
Well-
additional momentum. Both things are true.
All
Well,
right.
I think in the last session, I had mapped out that energy source coming from the depths of this cave.
Did you? I
Yeah.
think you found
That is
us,
true.
like,
There was
little
the advantage of
area.
the topography. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well then we'll cancel out. We'll just have it 2 momentum, and we will call that advantage tricorder psionic something or other.
Yeah.
Power dampener.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, Tall.
But
We made a thing.
The security officer, he's got his arm around you now because he's in that happy high phase, and he's explaining the phaser to you like you're 4, and he's being really nice about it. Like it was like a switch was flipped. He's just like.
I think Dahl is probably going to intervene there and put her hand very gently to the security chief's shoulder. I need his help to make modifications to the dampener.
And just kind of run.
As you
walks
slowly
away.
slide away, he drags a claw across the back of your uniform, just snagging like a couple of threads.
And Dahl just sort of grimaces as once they've got their backs turned to the security chief and gives you a side eye and a nod.
So as you, Dal, Tall, as you all kind of put your heads together, you begin to sort of make the adjustments to this dampener to sort of channel through the tricorders, act as a sort of a power zapping unit, and also a sort of a radar, if you will, a kind of a compass pointing you towards the center of this psychic kind of energy disturbance. I'm going to cut over to Dr. Rodchenko, who has obviously gotten to the colony back again. Dr. Rodchenko, you have gone back into the housing unit. You see Brother Watt still thrashing about and sweating from the suffering of Nugarian infection. Sister Rabotham is nearby, waiting to receive you. She comes up to you as you enter. And did you find the...
We have the berries. We may begin.
Yes, very good. So please come with me to my lab, and we can activate the synthesizer.
Let us proceed.
So she escorts you out of the housing unit into the additional hangar area, and you enter Sister Rabotham's laboratory. Now, this laboratory is full of various sort of science bits and bobs. There's a workbench with some worn-looking tools, some computer terminals, chemistry equipment, and there is an RDAC-4 molecular synthesizer, which is outdated. It's a museum piece, right? But still functional technology. Certainly enough to create this from the berries, this cure that you need. You also see, just as a note, a display case off to the side, and it's filled with some unusual items, we'll say, but we'll get to that if we get to it. So the sister takes the, holds her hand out to take the berries. grabs it, feeds it into the synthesizer, and you can see that she's sort of like nervously, kind of awkwardly. You can actually see, and this is important to note, that she's like rubbing the interior of her palms and her fingers as if she has maybe some kind of like muscle pain, nerve damage, maybe. It's hard to tell.
Arthritis?
Yeah, something. It certainly looks like that, right? And she is waiting impatiently for the synthesizer to, as it's taking its sweet time to do its thing.
The good doctor gets a bit closer and whips out his counseling side and starts to be the presence, the shoulder to talk to, and we'll try to grab her hands to both inspect to make sure that what she's doing isn't because she's hurting really bad, and then also to give you that reassuring touch.
She's a little surprised, but she's comfortable enough with you that she doesn't resist. Like she doesn't. It doesn't quite bother her. She's yes, sorry. I have my hands. They I need to massage them regularly because of well, it's not important.
We have all the time while the machine works. Please tell me what ails you.
Well, when I was younger, I was in a there was a threshing accident. They were able to repair a significant amount of nerves in my hands, but it's left me with what's the term? Neuropathy. Yes, that's it. I've had some nerve damage, some motor issues. It makes it difficult for me to do any fine motor control work, but thankfully I can still feel them and move them around and do most of what the colony requires of me.
You are indeed a woman of a great compassion, and I understand how this might impair and frustrate you. But do not worry. Even with such a beautiful hand as yours, you will be more than capable. It wasn't said as like
sure, yeah.
It was like a medical evaluation, if you will. But yeah, while they're talking, he's also massaging and the hands.
She appreciates it. She's like, she's she wasn't uncomfortable with you, but she's clearly like warming up to you more, right?
Yeah, she is.
And she is she does kind of like reflexively, kind of in spite of herself, does blush a little bit at the mention of that. She says, "Oh, thank you, doctor. Listen, why don't we while we're waiting, of course, this machine is going to take a bit of time to do its business. Can I show you some of my curiosities?" And she sort of gestures towards the display case.
Bit of coffee.
So she guides you over there, and yeah, there's a plate of spaghetti, and you share it. There's a strand between you. No, so you see that inside this display case, Doctor, you see that there are what looks like some chunks of mineral deposits. There's what looks like a fragment of, maybe that's a meteorite. It's kind of hard to tell. There's various fossils. And there's two elements that are particularly noteworthy. There's some kind of like animal skull. It's got a kind of the size of, let's say, a cat's skull, right? And there's a strange looking piece of what looks like iridescent twisted metal, like a little twisted metal shard of something.
These are all very interesting, yes.
Just some of the things I've picked up on my hikes and my studies.
And these were all found on this planet around here?
That's correct. Yes, it's really, this represents, at least archaeologically speaking, the sum total of my work here.
That is impressive. Remind me, DM. We haven't really seen any animal life, right? There was no mention of that either.
Yeah, no animal life. Yeah.
Tell me, this skull is from around here?
Yes, actually. Well, from many ages past, of course. This is the skull of what I've taken to calling a Silati. Um, it's it's apparently the largest creature that was native to this planet, based on my studies, of course. It's about the size of well, a house cat, right?
Oh,
And
duh.
and you can actually see, and she like leans towards the glass and like points at it. You can see based on the cranial features, you can see that the genetic structure of the Salati almost certainly contains both insectoid and reptilian DNA. It's fascinating.
Do you mind if I scan the skull?
Oh, no,
you
please.
could give a bit more insight into its origin.
Maybe scan
Yeah.
her hands too. You slide double.
She opens up the top of the display case and like gingerly picks up the skull and offers it to you. Well, please,
So yeah.
by all means.
Her hands are right there, man. Go for it.
You can hear some Barry White in the background. Space
So,
Barry
yeah,
White.
Consent is important.
Consent is very important. I'm guessing controlled
It is.
medicine for the scan.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for, right? Well, what exactly do you want to know?
It's bio makeup, the genetic code, basically.
Okay, yeah, reason and medicine. That sounds like.
Yeah, because with with my focus of genetics, that's the whole point.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. Let's say
So
this
reason,
is
medicine?
reason and medicine. Difficulty 3, since it's unusual life forms. You haven't counted this yet.
Mhm. I'll use a momentum to get that third dice. So myself a little leg up.
I'll say.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I get it.
Yeah, sometimes I'm clever.
I get it. I caught that reference.
Very good. Okay, 3
With
successes.
my cautious medicine, I can reroll that.
The 15.
17 that 15, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Play it, man.
There you
Ooh,
go.
there it is.
All right, 4.
Get that momentum back.
Okay, yes, you want to bank that momentum?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So your tricorder scans reveal that, what Sister Robotham was talking about. Sure enough, yeah, there are traces of insectoid and reptilian DNA in the in this animal skull here, and given that it's very unusual that this particular layout of a Class M planet, with the vegetation like it is, with the fossils that you can see already in the case, this shouldn't be here, for lack of a better phrase. Like,
As I'm explaining that, the genetic markups and everything,
Mhm.
I stop right in the middle. There is something I want to check.
what exactly, Doctor?
This skull should not be here. This is, for all my knowledge, a genetic markup as this should not have naturally evolved here.
Oh, yes, of course. The conditions for the planet shouldn't necessarily have led to a creature like this. Yes, that is something that I had supposed, but wasn't able to confirm. Are you saying that this is what, foreign to the planet in some way?
That would be my preliminary guess. There are no other living beings or creatures that we know of here, right? It was my understanding that there was no, life.
Not currently. And she like moves over and like takes a look at the little fragment of rock. She says, this piece, this is actually a section of a meteorite that I discovered. I think that this is evidence of some cataclysm that struck the moon of Gemini 5 many thousands of years ago. Now this, and basically what I picked up from analysis of the planet's ring, I've constructed a sort of a theoretical model. I'll show you later, of what things might have been like. And I think that possibly the sentient life that used to be here, if what you say is true, we're capable of space flight. We're capable of seeking creatures and returning them to the planet.
While she's speaking, his eyes divert to the twisted metal piece.
Twisted metal, yep.
Yeah. Where did you find this piece?
This is unusual. This was actually, I found this on one of my treks up to Mount Idle. This, similarly, as you say about the skull, this shouldn't be here either. This is made out of a vanadium tungsten alloy. This doesn't occur naturally. It's an alloy, for God's sake. I mean, nothing natural should be created in this mixture.
And at the mention of the alloy, he's gonna pop his comm badge. Doctor to Lieutenant Dahl.
Doll or tall?
Dahl, D-A-L.
Okay.
But of course, it's in good Russian, so both of you can answer, and it's gonna be super funny.
I think we absolutely
yes.
should.
Yeah.
Here?
Lieutenant Dahl. Thank you, Commander. But this is a mythological question. Lieutenant, do the components of the bodies contain a, what did you say was again, a vanadium
tungsten alloy, yes.
A vanadium tungsten.
Oh, can they hear me? So she like gets closer. Vanadium tungsten alloy. It's not naturally occurring.
No need to scream.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They can hear you. No worries.
I'll back up.
You just speak normally, and they understand.
Okay.
Yeah, the communicator actually filters voices to make sure that they're all level. Thank you, whoever you are. Yes, the vanadium tungsten alloy. GM, did I detect that while I was scanning the Borg bodies?
You weren't looking for it before,
So
but
can I look at my tricorder scans and ascertain that?
yes, you can. So you do a cursory scan. Absolutely, that alloy is present inside the circuitry of these bodies.
Well, Doctor, it seems that your supposition was correct. And she kind of looks over at the captain, assessing his response to the information that's being conveyed, assuming that everyone in the party is able to hear all of this.
While he's talking, I'm going to try to carbon date the piece that you found to see if it's older than like how old it is, basically.
Okay. Captain, do you have any response to this?
Captain's just listening, kind of nodding his head, but really doesn't have anything of value to add at this point.
Okay. Doctor, give me a reason and science to try to carbon date this thing.
I got nothing there. All right. I will use a momentum to get a third dice.
Single momentum?
Yep, and I've got no focus, so. Success.
That's exactly the number of successes that you needed, my friend.
Bam.
So you are able to check in, get this carbon dated. This is, as far as you can tell, and there's a margin of error here, right? This seems to be at least 2,000 years old.
I relay the data to Dahl on his on their tricorder, and do you see the readings, Lieutenant? I have a piece here that the good sister has found of this alloy. The piece that is currently in front of me appears to be quite old.
How old exactly?
2,000 years, if I'm reading the data correctly. You should have received it on your tricorder.
Ah, yes. Well, it's an interesting metallurgical analysis that you provided, but I'm not sure if the age is particularly germane to what we're looking at. It doesn't really matter how old it is.
I am curious to find out if the metal in the bodies in front of you were the same age, or were they constructed maybe more recent?
Can I perform such an analysis, differentiating perhaps between the external components that gave the androids their appearance and the internal components that were actually the operational constituent elements?
Yes, same check, same difficulty. Reason science.
And I guess looking over that, she's then going to turn over to Tall. Well, I have some small experience with metallurgical analysis. Perhaps this is something that you would be more equipped to determine. And she's going to turn her tricorder around and hand that over to him. Oh, and the same goes for the operation of the device that I constructed. If we should encounter any more of these androids, well, and she actually hands over the tricorder, it's probably best that that's in your hands.
I think based on that, where we're coming at time here. So as Dal does the mature adult thing of the character growth of giving Tall, let's call the whole thing off. This tricorder. That's where we'll stop for tonight.
I like it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Any final
Thank you.
thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from Professor
I
Hex?
just want to say I'm sorry. I was late. I was indeed very much asleep. Fortunately, new medication means new problems, and
Just
I
get well.
did, yeah, no. It's just new medication for ADHD. So and yeah, I really thought it was at 8. So
That's okay. No excuse. But
Till next week,
Just-
part 3,
just-
right?
Just
Yes.
a heads up. Just a heads up that next week I have people coming over in the morning, so I expect they'll probably be out of here by 4. But if they're not, I'm not. You're welcome to send Lenore back to the ship and do the thing. I'll keep you more apprised the closer we get. But they're coming over to play board games, so we'll see how
I see.
long
Well,
Frosthaven takes.
don't play Twilight Imperium and you'll be fine.
No,
Fine.
yeah, well,
Okay. Thank you
Cool.
so much, everybody. We're gonna
Thank you,
get
Professor
to
X.
another episode of
thank you.
this. Probably wrap this up next time.
Yeah,
Thanks for all for joining us.
awesome.
Cheers.
woot. Thanks,
With that,
everybody.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording. Night, everybody. We go ahead and do this.
Bye.
Right, and